Just list all the things that you feel identify your being right now. It is important to recognize that the things that are part of your being are fluid throughout your life. I may be a caregiver now, I wasn't 5 years ago. So think about how you are right now and list the things that you consider to be really who am I in terms of my being. So I'm going to time you. I want you to write down as many as you can. You got 5 minutes. Okay, everybody have 3 lists. The next thing I want you to do is I wanted you to look at the list that you came up with in response to the 3rd question about your core being, and just take a look at those things, because these really do make up the core of who you are. And what I want you to do is to think about what I've said about decompartmentalization, and I want you to come up with at least 5 ways that you can decompartmentalize among the things that you've listed. So some examples might be hire your family member as your secretary. My older sister is my secretary. So every day I kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I get a great secretary and I get to see my sister on a daily basis. And if I am mean to her, she tells our mother. So that's one way. Another way, bring your daughter to work. Do like May and host an art exhibit for to raise money for a legal services organization or a charity. Perform music if you're a musician. Perform music at your place of worship or when you're sitting with your elderly relative in a nursing home. So those are just some examples of what I want you to think about in terms of blending. So we'll take up to 5 minutes. If everybody looks up and I can tell you're done, we'll end sooner than that, but I want you to come up with at least 5 ways that you can mix it up. Okay? The next thing you do, which I know lawyers hate, is we're going to do what they call a pair share, where you get to pair up with someone else in the room. And first I want you to share what things you did list in answer to the question, who am I in terms of my being? And then I want you to share the 5 things that you came up with as a way to blend those aspects of your being. So those of you sitting alone at tables are going to have to get up and move. But find a partner, and those are the 2 things that I want you to talk about. What's on your list in terms of who you are, in terms of your being, and what are the 5 things that you came up with to mix it up.
So that's kind of one of the ways I thought to combine.
So, how'd that go? How did that go? Anybody willing to share what came out of your pair share? Come on, Buncombe County.
Okay. Former Buncombe County, but I'll do it anyway. Well, do you mind? So, a really good idea that Anne came up with is exercising with friends. Really scheduling that time that helps yourself, but you're still social, and you can also create if you're also an advocate, you can also, just creating that time with a friend can give you other opportunities to bring in these other things into your life, and just killing lots of birds with 1 stone, so to speak.
That's a great idea. Physical exercise is the one area of my life that I have never successfully been able to integrate into all the rest of it. And that's a really good idea, is to double it up and make it social.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. Susan and I had the same thing. But another thing that adds on to that and ties into the mental health substance abuse is that we wanted to do something other than eating and drinking with our friends. Because a lot of our social get-togethers involve like a cocktail of the night, and if we're trying to be more healthy and be aware of substance abuse issues, that we would organize getting together with friends around something else. It could be around a book club, like Heather's awesome books, or it could be around hiking in the mountains.
That's
Something
great.
else.
Everybody
Yeah.
can hear that? Did everybody hear that?
Book club with Heather's books.
Yeah, when May said that whatever that horrible statistic was, 30% of lawyers drink too much.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than being a cliche. So it's definitely something to think about, to find other ways to be social with each other. Other ideas that you had?
Well, do you mind if I share?
No.
May is starting some vacation rentals. And as part of that, she's also going to use her gardening skills that she enjoys a lot to help take care of the grounds there, as well as her photography skills, hiking and taking pictures that she'll put on the walls of vacation rentals, which is wonderful.
Great.
Business expense.
I'd just like to say that it's been very nice for you to say to decompartment. I've been doing that my entire life, and I get accused of being a workaholic because other people compartmentalize their own lives.
Yes.
And they say, oh, how does volunteering at the prison, that's just like your job, or how does, going out and working in a homeless shelter, that is your job. Why? They don't see that as relaxing, so they think I'm a workaholic and I work all the time. Just like with May, we worked together at Pisgah for a bit, and I'm an obsessive cleaner. That's how I relax, and people think that's work, so therefore they don't see me as de-stressing.
Yeah, but it's feeding you as you're doing all those different things.
Yeah, so it's nice that that's an approach that gets some recognition.
Yeah.
Quit being accused of being a workaholic all the time when I'm perfectly relaxed at what I'm doing. It's just that other people find that laborious.
That's great. Yeah, it's good to know it's good to know what works for you.
Yeah.
And your own personality, what you need. Anyone else willing to share? Ninja pirate people?
Oh, well, that's his chair. So one of what I kind of found in doing this was I was actually a little bit of the opposite, where I didn't have strong enough walls between areas. So I also coach football, and when you end up doing representations for either your clients or your players' parents, or occasionally even some of your players, a lot of times football practice was the chance that I had to put lawyering away for a couple hours, focus on X's and O's and just the game. And anywhere you go, you walk in and somebody wants to ask you about the case or how something is going, or I've got a question for you, or this or whatever. And I did not have very good walls with that. And one of the things that Josh had mentioned is that he has a separate business phone that rings just into the office, and mine, on the other hand, rings into my cell phone, and they can get at me, within a certain parameters of hours during the day. It'll shut off after a while. But I did not have that separation and that boundary in the areas where I needed to decompress. So kind of like it was just said, that where, something that, seems like work is actually something that's relaxing. What I was doing for relaxation was actually turning into, just another extension of work in another area of it, not being able to get away with it.
Yeah.
So
a vote for boundaries, like May talked about in the normal thing. And you can certainly decompartmentalize in certain areas and compartmentalize where you need it to protect your sanity. So that's absolutely true. Other thoughts on this before we wrap it up? About claiming your creative life or managing the stress of a legal practice? All right. We appreciate you coming. There's lots of food left. Any housekeeping stuff that you need?
Let's give them some, because they all look damaged.